So X Battles have been out for about a week now, and I've had enough time with it that I can finally give my thoughts. This isn't going to be a long video or anything, just a few minutes of me sharing my opinions. So X Rank. Where do I start? Well, if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me be vocal about how I thought X Rank felt laggier than other modes in the game. And before you ask, yes, I live in the United States and I picked the Tentatek division. I tweeted that like a day after X Rank came out, and since then, it feels like it's gotten a little bit better, at least for me. But I'm still seeing a ton of enemies swim through ink, and bullets phasing through people, and so much more compared to Anarchy series. Now, let's talk matchmaking. This is where I think X Battles falls flat on its face. This matchmaking somehow feels worse than Splatoon 2's, and I thought that game was the bottom of the barrel. I'm getting people on my team who literally seem to not know how to play the video game. And before you say, well, Chase, isn't that how ranked has always been? No. In Anarchy series, I would get much more competent teammates, which is crazy because any rank could be matched up with each other there. Yet in the mode where you can only be matched with people who are the highest rank in the game, that's where I consistently get the bad teammates. It's just very bizarre. Now, yeah, I know, what might be contributing to this is the fact that the enemy team is also full of X ranks, so it's harder to get teammates who can perform well against them. But there's no way that can be the case for every game. One other thing to consider is that I do main the Tetradualies, which is known to be a pretty bad weapon for solo ranked due to its playstyle, but I'm still performing well in X rank. I significantly MVP in the majority of my games, so I really don't think I'm the sole reason for all my bad matches. Could be though. But ultimately, I think the main culprit for all of this is just the fact that the entry cap for X Battles is too low. In my opinion, it should be around at least S plus 20. Let's address the point system now. So what's probably the biggest change from Splatoon 2 is how points are distributed. Instead of just gaining or losing after a single match, you play until you win 3 or lose 3. After that, the game will then determine how many points you gain or lose. So this seems really good on paper because having one match with awful teammates won't completely screw you. However, this ranking system still ends up sucking when you look at how it distributes the points. There should not be, in any way, shape, or form, a universe where you only get 10 points for going 3-0. That is such a waste of time. And yet, you can go 2-3 and lose 70. I have seen some people get big point gains, hell even I've gotten a couple, but it seems to be few and far between. Most of the time when I win 3 games, it tends to be a net gain of 40 points or less, which isn't exactly ideal. Now, X Rank does have some redeeming qualities, it's not all bad. While most of my matches in X Rank feel unbalanced, the ones that are balanced have been some of the most fun I've had with this game so far. I've had a couple games where nearly every player in the room was a comp player that I recognized, and it felt dead even. And of course, not every X Rank teammate is bad. I get the occasional game where I get someone on my team who I don't recognize, and they end up being an amazing player who carries the whole team. Now this next thing is just going off of what I've heard others say, but apparently the Takaroka division is proving to be a much more enjoyable time for those that picked it. I'm not too surprised given the JP player base, but I don't think this is really going to persuade me to change regions for the next season. I'm a firm believer that you should just stick to the region you actually belong to, rather than going into another one just to try to get better matches. But that's just my opinion. The game does give you the option to choose your region, so I can't blame anyone for doing so. It is nice to hear that Division is having a better experience though. Overall, X Battles have been kind of a bummer so far. It really doesn't feel like much of an improvement over Splatoon 2's X Rank, and in some aspects, it feels worse. The entry level requirement should not have been lowered to S plus 0. I think that's the bottom line here. I am curious though, what do you all think? Have you also been having a terrible time with X Battles, or have you been having a much better experience than I have? Do you think S plus 0 is too low of a requirement, or is it fine? Let me know down below. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.